Hey everyone, it's Christina. Welcome to today's video. I hope you're having a great day and you're excited about a sit down chat with me about money. If you like money, why don't you hit the thumbs up button? It helps the channel out so much. And if you want to hang around for other videos that I do on my channel, some cooking, some grocery hauls, some family stuff, some fitness, and of course some money, hit the subscribe button and hang around a little bit more. Let me be clear, don't misunderstand the title of today's video. I am not talking about making $1 million at a certain time of your life. I'm talking about living your life in such a way that you can be a millionaire by the time you retire, no matter how much or how little money you make in your life. Now, if you're new around here and you don't know, Dave worked in the public school system for a very long time. Public school teachers do not make very much money. I was a stay-at-home mom and we were a single income household for a long time, except for like all of the random side hustles that we did to make as much extra income as possible, and our extra income wasn't that much. There were times that I donated plasma for grocery money, where I babysat kids in my home to help pay off student loan debt, and Dave even cleaned carpets at night so we could buy window coverings for our house. He would go out and work a job, we would get paid $50, and we would take that $50 straight over to Home Depot and buy a set of blinds for one of the naked windows. So I know what it's like to face this huge obstacle. How can I ever have enough to retire? How is it possible? I don't make any money. Guys, I've been there. With the right steps, you can do it too. With the recent events that we won't go into detail about in the world and in the United States, let's say things are a little unsure. There are a lot of people, some of them are my friends and family, who have lost income, who have lost jobs, who have had businesses struggle, like they own a business and it has struggled to stay open during this time. In fact, my youngest sister just found out she is going to be laid off from her job in the next 10 days. She's been working at that job for 15 years at the same company. I would say it's a time of uncertainty right now. Perhaps the circumstances that are going on right now have led you to think about preparing for your future and for emergencies a little bit more than you have thought in the past, because we've seen firsthand what can happen and it's super scary. The first thing you need is an emergency fund. This is crucial to weathering any financial storm of any kind. It could be an illness with a lot of hospital bills. It could be a job loss. It could be a loss of income. Having an emergency fund is going to be essential. Now, how much should your emergency fund be? That depends on who you ask. I know Dave Ramsey is a big fan of 3 to 6 months of expenses, and I think that's a great rule of thumb. Perhaps 3 to 6 months of expenses could be $10,000. Maybe for a different family who has high medical bills or their house is very expensive, maybe it's closer to $25,000. For me personally, I took 6 months of baseline expenses and I removed out like savings and retirement. So if there was a job loss and like all the income stopped, we could pay the bills for 6 months, and then I padded it a little bit. Now listen, the emergency fund is not for buying a couch, and it's not for a vacation. It's not to get your hair done, and it's not to get those new shoes. Okay, it's for a true emergency, a medical emergency, a sudden job loss. You need to move across the country, like a tree fell on your house, like something like that. That's what the emergency fund is for. You decide you need an emergency fund, you need to know, where are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep it like in cash under your mattress? Like my grandmother may or may not have done that, you know what I'm saying? Are you going to keep it straight in your checking account to where you can get to it? Are you going to keep it in a separate account? No, well, that's up to you. I'm a big fan of keeping it in a separate online bank that I can access easily, but it's not so easy that it's attached to my debit card. I can get to it. I just can't get to it instantaneously. One of the options that you can use for online banking is Stash, and I would like to thank them for partnering with me on today's video. Stash is dedicated to helping customers achieve their financial goals. It brings together banking, investing, budgeting, and education into one full, seamless experience. They believe the status quo established by legacy financial institutions doesn't work for most Americans, especially the hundreds of millions living paycheck to paycheck. There are a lot of barriers to retirement and investing and saving to those who make a lower income. Stash's commitment to simplicity, accessibility, affordability, and education is what truly sets this service apart from others. With education and guidance built into the Stash experience, customers are empowered to take responsibility, save money, and make their own investment decisions. You can get started investing with an IRA with just $1, but you do need to be on the Stash Growth or Stash Plus plan to do that, starting at $3 a month. So with just $1, you can buy stocks, funds, you can build your own portfolio and learn how to invest confidently. Stash is offering you guys an exclusive offer to get started. So when you sign up and deposit $1 into your new investment account, they're gonna give you $15. So if you're looking to get your feet wet, this is a great deal. So click the link in the description box to get your offer, or head to the Stash app and enter Frugal Fit Mom, and it will be there for you. Let's move to the juicy bits of the video, and that's how to be a millionaire. So you have your emergency fund, you're ready to go. So if something happens, you can pay for it. Now is the fun part. This is, of course, assuming you are out of debt already, okay? If you are in debt, do that first. But you're out of debt, you've got your emergency fund, now you're ready to invest. Here's what I know for sure. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to being a millionaire at retirement. I've been investing very, very slowly. At first, not very much money since 2009. That is when Dave and I had paid off our debt, built up the emergency fund, and then bought a minivan in cash because we had our third child, and moved on to investing. And at first we could not put very much money into it, but we did it every single month without fail. Trust me, the little numbers, even though it doesn't feel like a lot, it does add up over time. One day you're gonna wake up and be like, whoa, look at all this money I have. If you don't have retirement options at your work, because all of the workplaces are different, that could be a whole nother video that we could talk about. An IRA, of course, this is for United States of America people. An individual retirement account, an IRA, is a great place to start. Each person, as of the recording of this video, can invest $6,000 per year per married couple. Even if you don't work, you can do a spousal IRA. Let's say I didn't work at all. Dave could do $6,000 and I could do $6,000 into an individual retirement account. Okay, let's talk about pros and cons of the two different kinds of IRAs that you can do. Number one is the traditional IRA, and that's going to be tax deductible, okay? So if you put in $6,000, you can tell the IRS, hey, I've invested $6,000, and they'll basically remove it from your income. So let's say you make, I'm just making up a number, $50,000 a year, and you invest $6,000. To the IRS, if you've put it in a traditional IRA, it's kind of like making $44,000 and not $50,000, which means your tax burden is lighter. Hold on a minute, because all of the interest that grows in the account, you will then pay when you pull it out. So that is something to be aware of. And for that reason, a lot of people like the Roth IRA. So at the time of this recording, your $6,000 that you put into your Roth IRA, you have already paid taxes on. You don't get a tax deduction on that. You made $50,000 for the year, you put $6,000 into your account, you've still made $50,000 for the year according to the IRS. But all of the interest that it earns over your lifetime is tax-free. So your $6,000, maybe I'll do some math over here. So your $6,000 over the course of 25 years, if it earns an average of 8% return, it's going to give you this number down here. Now, if you do a traditional IRA, you will pay taxes on that number. But because you chose a Roth, you get that money tax-free, which is why a lot of people prefer the Roth IRA. And that is personally what Dave and I started with way back when. We started with the Roth IRA. We did it for a very, very long time. It's only been recently that we've kind of split between a Roth and a traditional now. Some tax benefits now and then some tax benefits later. That can get a little messy if you get into it, but most people do prefer the Roth. Maybe you're one of the lucky people that finishes the Roth, you want to invest some more money, you want to do something else. I'm a huge fan of mutual funds. They are semi-low risk. A lot of them have been open for 20 plus years, and you can see the rates of return on most of them on most investment platforms. So let's say I pick mutual fund ABC, and over the last 20 years, they've averaged a 10% return. That one feels like a pretty safe one. So you can just put money into that, and then there's no rules. You can take it out whenever you want. A lot of the other retirement sheltered options, you are restricted from taking it out until you are much older. I think it's 59 and a half. When can you pull out your money from a Roth IRA? 59 and a half. I was right, look at me. Look at me knowing all the answers when I don't really know all the answers. So there are restrictions from taking out money out of your IRAs until you're 59 and a half without penalties. So if you want to do just a regular mutual fund, there's no rules on that. You can take it out whenever you want and there's no penalties on it. So if I want to take it out at 45, I can. If I wanted to do a remodel on my house, but I don't recommend you do that because we are trying to save for retirement here. What's really fun is there's a bunch of calculators online where you can type in like, what if I saved this much per month and it made 6% return on average, how much would I have this far out? And every time I've run those numbers, I've been able to see that Dave and I will be able to retire with between $2 to $3 million, depending on the rates of return. Here's the thing, Dave and I have never put huge amounts of money in our retirement, ever. There were some, like I think when we first started, we could barely squeak out $200 a month. That's all we did. $200 a month when we first started. And even just to do your $6,000 IRA, it's $500 a month to finish that out for an entire year. So if you pay off your debt and you have the emergency fund and you've cut your expenses a little bit, can you put aside $500 a month so by the time you're 60 or however old you are when you want to retire, you have a couple $1 million? Listen, I know it's hard to set aside your $200 a month or $100 a month or $5 a month if that's all you have to work with right now, and do such a small amount that it feels like you're making no progress at all. But I promise you, if you go slow and steady over the years, and anytime you have maybe a bump in income, you add a little more. You pay off a bill, you add a little more. One day, 10 or 15 years down the road, you'll wake up, look up and be like, oh my gosh, we're doing it. You do not have to make a ton of money to end up with a ton of money. You just have to be smart and save it consistently over the course of your life. Let me know down in the comments what stage you are on right now. Are you paying off debt and you need a cheerleader? Dude, I'm here for you. I have also gone through a debt-free journey. Are you trying to build up your emergency fund and it's like just not as fun as paying off the debt? Dude, I've been there. Sometimes it's frustrating just to see this money over here not doing anything for you. You feel this peace in knowing that it's there in case something happens. And for a lot of people, something happened the last several months. Have you moved on to retirement investing? Are you doing a Roth? Are you doing a traditional IRA? Do you have options at work? Let me know what's going on with you guys. And if you want to get started with Stash, remember, if you go through my link down below and sign up and invest $1, they will give you $15 to invest with. And I think that's an amazing start into potentially being a millionaire one day. I hope you're inspired to start saving and work your way towards being a millionaire. It's something that Dave and I have been working towards for a very long time now. And I feel confident that we're gonna be able to do it one day. We're not there yet, but we're on our way and I'm really excited about it. Click over here if you wanna see any other videos that I've done, and here if you wanna subscribe, and don't forget to hit that exclusive offer down below to get a free $15 to start investing with Stash. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.